Hi class, my name is Elhi. Thanks for joining me today. For a second, I would like you to try to imagine virtually doing all the things that you do on an everyday basis, but doing them without shoes. Think about how many sharp stones or stubbed toes that you would have during your commute to work or walking around your favorite store. More so, think about all the gross and disgusting things that you'd be walking into without having the protection of your shoes. Think about how exposed you would be to infections and bacteria, as you would have no way to cover cuts or wounds or your feet. Life without shoes is more than just being uncomfortable. It's potentially dangerous. Even more disheartening is that TOMS website reports that 300 million people around the world consider shoes a luxury and are too poor to afford their own pair. So today I hope to inform you about a couple of things. First and foremost, I want to talk to you about TOMS, which is a business that's for profit that prides itself on its mission, which is one for one. Secondly, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about their mission and how it impacts their customers. Third, I'd like to talk to you about their overall processes and how they focus on sustainability. And lastly, I would like to talk about TOMS and their future and where they're heading. So, first and foremost, let's start by discussing the history of TOMS and their foundation. TOMS was founded by Blake Muskowski in 2006. I don't know if any of you guys watched The Amazing Race, but I do. If so, he and his sister Paige were on season 2 and came in, I think, seconds from winning. It was during The Amazing Race when Blake was in Argentina that he really saw the poverty that the people were living in there. Majority of the children there didn't have any shoes, which did leave them susceptible to many infections like we talked about earlier. So Blake was actually inspired by the alpargata shoe, which looks like this, which it's a native shoe to Argentina. And so when he finished The Amazing Race, he came back to the United States and decided that he wanted to make it his mission to not only recreate those shoes, but to do it in a principle that was one for one. So meaning that everyone who purchased this shoe would donate a shoe to someone in need. So a lot of people wonder, why are they called TOMS? The owner's name is Blake. I know it can get confusing, but TOMS actually stands for Shoes for a Better Tomorrow, because that's what Blake wanted to do, provide a better tomorrow for someone in need. So although the method of one for one isn't very traditional for a business approach, Blake knew that it would be successful because his business was a for-profit entity, so he didn't have to rely on donations in order for them to be profitable. In the first year, TOMS website reports that they were able to donate 10,000 shoes to Argentinians in need, which is pretty remarkable. So the business was founded in 2006. Their website reports that through the support of TOMS customers, they've been able to reach 70 million people across 6 continents. That's a lot of giving. So now that we've covered the foundation and history of TOMS, I'd like to talk to you a little bit now about their mission. I know that we've kind of talked a little bit about it briefly, but I really want to dive into it because that's the whole purpose of TOMS. So TOMS now may look a little bit different than when they were first established in 2006, but their mission for one has always remained the same. TOMS was really an important idea to Blake because, as he told Business Insider, he was born into a wonderful family that allowed him to have a great education and give him the confidence to start multiple businesses. So he wants to make sure that he's using his life and his resources to help those who aren't so lucky, which is very inspiring. The one-for-one mission of TOMS is not only inspiring, but it has had a major impact. The TOMS website reports that 60 million pairs of shoes have been given to children since they've opened, which is amazing. Business Insider reports that Blake believes the majority of TOMS' success isn't from him, but it's from keeping TOMS simple and focusing on the customer from the start. So it's allowing the customers to resonate with their mission and be a part of it, which has created a movement. A lot of people have decided to either purchase TOMS or invest in TOMS because they really believe that they can make a difference by doing so. They're not just a customer anymore, they're part of the movement. Many people stand behind TOMS as well, because not because they're super comfy or that they're really cute or anything. They've actually been able to get better with their look. They have a whole new line now, which even like includes wedges, baby shoes, but people aren't necessarily focused on the fashion. They're actually focused on their mission. So customers like to know that they're giving back by purchasing TOMS. And TOMS has to do very little in regards to marketing, which is amazing. They do have a strong social media presence, but most of their marketing is done by consumers, which is very awesome because it allows them to not have to focus so much of their money on that respect, and it allows them to use that money in a more meaningful way. So I'd like to also talk to you a little bit about the movement that they have with their followers. This movement is one that has grown throughout the years, so much so that there's now a day that it's called a day without shoes, and this day is to kind of raise awareness for the issue that not everyone has the luxury of shoes. So what people do, it actually started in a college. They walked around without shoes on, and then it had everyone asking, why don't you have your shoes on, where are your shoes? And so it really got them to be able to promote, oh, I'm not wearing shoes because not everyone's able to have shoes. This is, a great organization that you can buy your shoes through, because not only will it be helping you with your shoes, but it donates a pair to someone in need. So it helps to reinforce the need behind TOMS. So now that we talked about the ways that TOMS was founded and their mission, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about their ethical and sustainable operations. In 2013, TOMS' overall operational philosophy changed as the website claimed that they became more committed to producing at least 1/3 of the giving shoes within the region where they were given. This commitment has not only helped improve the local production by building industry in that area, but it's also helped by creating jobs and sustainable futures for those in that area. Since the majority of the shoes are now manufactured outside of the United States, it was very important for TOMS from the very get-go to establish ethical practices for their business partners. So they refuse to conduct business relationships with anyone who do not follow the anti-human trafficking or forced labor policies like they do. TOMS' website formally states that TOMS has zero tolerance policy for violations involving any form of modern slavery. Vendors or faculties found to be in violation of this policy will be immediately terminated. So this is something that's very important to TOMS, that they want to make sure that their shoes are being made ethically and humanely. TOMS' website also explains that they've created a vigorous process for factory audits before going into a business relationship. So these audits look for things like health and safety, wage and compliance, forced labor, child labor issues, harassment-free work policies, and environmental issues are always reviewed before they conduct any business relationships. So the use of sustainable and ethical business practices and operations is very important to a lot of their consumers, because they want to know that their shoes that they're donating and the shoes that they're purchasing for themselves are made humanely. A lot of their movement and a lot of their consumers, really emphasize that they want to give back, and they don't want to know that by doing this that they could be either hurting people in some way. Since we've spent so much time talking about their history of TOMS and their mission, I wanted to also talk to you a little bit about their present state. So the TOMS that is now is much different than the TOMS that was first established in 2006. They've been able to give 60 million pairs of shoes to children in need by people like us who have helped them by purchasing shoes. And this is leading to bigger and better things that they're able to do. So now that they're able to differentiate their giving, meaning they're now able to figure out which shoes would be best for which type of people living in different terrains or for different seasons. And it's also helped them by creating more local jobs and producing shoes in countries where they actually give. Although it all started with shoes, and that's mostly what we've talked about, I think it's important that we also talk about how they've expanded their product line, but have still followed their one-for-one giving philosophy. Now TOMS helps to provide sight, water, safe birth, and bullying prevention services to people in need, following that same philosophy. So for eyewear, for every eyewear purchase that you purchase from TOMS, either sunglasses or actual glasses, each patient then receives a treatment that he or she needs by a trained professional, and that they give them either prescription glasses, sight-saving surgery, or a medical treatment. TOMS website reports that they've been able to help restore the sight in 600,000 people in need. Water. According to TOMS website, more than 780 million people do not have access to safe water. So TOMS promised that for every bag of TOMS coffee that was sold, that a person would receive 140 liters of safe water, which is about water enough for a week, which is incredible. Bullying. This is pretty important because according to TOMS website, 1 out of 3 students reports being bullied at some point in their schooling. So TOMS dedicated that 1-for-1 every backpack that's sold, that they would provide training to school staff or counselors to help prevent and respond to bullying. So today I informed you of the ways TOMS is making a positive impact and change through their philosophy of 1-for-1. Their business today doesn't look the same as it did, or probably won't look the same as it is in the future. However, they've always made sure to operate under the philosophy of 1-for-1 and through the means of sustainable production. So I challenge you to go a day without shoes. So you can see how shoes are considered a luxury around the world. I also encourage you to try TOMS if you haven't already, and just think, you're not only treating your feet to comfort, but you're also treating someone else in need. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.